water. It's a team from Toronto, Canada. We, the North, are now we, the champions.
What is going on, everyone? It is Luca here, back with the Raptors Nation podcast. Hope you're all enjoying your holiday season. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. It's that time. Festive season is upon us as we've been watching some Raptors basketball. Yes, the Raptors, they have not been looking good. This is a team that they've lost 9 games in a row, and their defense has just been flat out embarrassing. So I just wanted to talk about the Raptors' latest stretch here, and then we're going to get into the latest trade rumors because that's what this season is going to become. With the Raptors bottoming out, they got the third worst record now in the NBA. As we get closer to that February 6th trade deadline, the Raptors, they're going to hear their name pop up a ton in trade rumors as they could end up being aggressive sellers. They got some players on their team that makes sense for them to ship. Do me a solid, everybody. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. And you can leave us a 5-star review. It would be greatly appreciated wherever you get your favorite podcast. You can find this podcast on Apple iTunes, Spotify, and go follow me on X at Luca Rosano 3. So before we get into the trade talk, hypothetical trades, all that fun stuff, let's get into the X's and O's here. Like the Raptors, it was bad. Look, I get this team is rebuilding. I get they have been shorthanded, but you want to set a good culture. You want to build good habits. The attention to detail still needs to be there. And the Raptors' defensive effort has been absolutely atrocious in these last 2 games. I mean, Darko Rajakovic, he got ejected over a Scottie Barnes no call. He was irate. His reaction was crazy. I mean, I thought Rajakovic was going to take a swing there at the ref, but he should have been that upset over this team's defensive effort. It was bad, guys. Like, this was just flat out embarrassing. It's one way to lose, but to lose like this, the Raptors surrendering a franchise record 155 points in a game, topping their previous franchise record of 152. They allowed 152 against the Clippers in 98. The Grizzlies really put up 155. I thought they were going to hit 160. It looked like that. I mean, this was just horrible. It was like Memphis was getting whatever they wanted. Like the Grizzlies, they had 109 field goal attempts. They shot 53.2% on those 109 field goal attempts. They shot 40% from 3. And it didn't help that the Raptors were severely depleted inside, especially on the glass. Like the Grizzlies, they had out-rebounded the Raptors in this one, guys. 63-40. They had 24 offensive rebounds leading to 33 second-chance points. And the Raptors, they were without Jakob Poeltl. And really what this also exposed to me was the Raptors got to get some center depth. Like Kelly Olynyk, Boucher, Mobo, these are all small guys. Like they're not capable of playing that center position. Like Kelly Olynyk, yeah, he can stretch the floor, but he's not a particularly good rebounder. Like Jakob Poeltl's presence was severely missed in this one. A guy who can get inside, bang down low, get rebounds, crash the offensive glass. And as a result of the Raptors seemingly having no presence inside, Zach Edey had a monstrous game. Shout out to Zach Edey. He went off against his hometown team. Zach Edey turned in one of his best performances of his career. 21 points, the second highest point total of his career. 16 rebounds, a career high, 2 blocks. 9 for 15 shooting from the field in 27 minutes. But beyond that, I mean, this has just been a lifeless defense. That's really the only way to put it. Like the Raptors offense, yeah, you can say they look good in stretches. Like Scottie still got his numbers. RJ had a nice game. But where's this defense going to come from? Like this is a team that now, guys, has given up 139 to the Knicks and now 155 to the Grizzlies in back-to-back games. That's got to be a record for the most points surrendered in a 2-game span. And what are they going to surrender on Sunday against the Atlanta Hawks? Yeah, you can look at this team, cut them some slack. But again, you want to build good habits. You want to build character. You want to lose, yes. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm on Team Tank. I want to see this team bottom out. but you still want to put forth some respectable efforts. And the Raptors, for the most part, have been doing that, but their last two in particular, they have just fallen off a train. And yeah, you can argue that without Jakob Poeltl, this team is just completely lost. And really, like, that's what this tells me. The importance of Jakob Poeltl is very, very big. It's like this team looks so much more polished offensively, but also just defensively, they do a better job. I mean, the Raptors are not a good defensive team to begin with, but they're not this dead on defense. And Poeltl kind of just stabilizes things. So, I was initially team trade Yak, but the Raptors, they don't have any center depth and their defense is terrible. So you don't want to get rid of the guy that's going to make that immensely worse. But it's just concerning because when you look at this team, you want to see them at least be able to commit, show you some effort on that end of the floor. And really, it's just like easy buckets. What was it? The other game, like Darko calling timeout after easy transition buckets by the other team. Like this team they're doing the little things wrong. Not getting back in transition, losing their man. So that's inexcusable. That's unacceptable because it all starts on the defensive end. You got to commit to that end. And really, that's where you build your backbone. Like this Raptors team had built their backbone on the defensive end for all those seasons. Like what happened? Like completely just went off a cliff. So Darko's got to hold these guys accountable on that end. And what I'm looking for also, guys, is who is the leader? Who is the leader on this team? Who is going to step up and be that guy who leads by example? Like we're getting our butts kicked. We can't get a stop. Let me do something to stir these guys up and rile it up. I thought it was Scotty, but really, like Scotty has not demonstrated leadership qualities to the point that I expected to see from him this season. Like in a game like this, you need somebody to rise up and just get everybody in check and get them on the same page. And if you are going to lose this game, like nobody had the Raptors beating the Grizzlies. If you are going to lose by double digits, at least make it somewhat respectable. Like don't give up 155 points. Like that is insane. I still can't believe that they allowed 155 points. Like at that point, that's got to get under your skin as players. Like you're not just losing at that point. You're getting humiliated. Get a couple of damn stops for crying out loud. And really, like Scotty Barnes, look, he's a really good defensive player. I'm not knocking this entirely on him, but the defense as a whole has just been terrible. And the Raptors, they got to either have major improvement from their players on that side or they got to address that because this defense, it just continues to get worse. And, a part of that could be maybe the Raptors know they're not going to win these games and they're already going in demoralized and they're kind of going in already defeated. And if that's the case, that's not good because I get you want to position yourself and lose these games, but you don't want to get flat out beat where like you are just getting run out of the building like this. Like what the Raptors were doing before was brilliant, putting up good efforts, fighting against teams at this caliber of the Memphis Grizzlies. But these last two games, like they've been looking a lot like the record, but much worse, I got to say. And again, their defense has just been horrible to watch. So rebuild or not, like the Raptors defending this poorly, it's got to change. And it's got to come from Darko, holding these guys accountable, getting on these guys. And I think really the Raptors, they need a guy to step up. They need a leader on this basketball team. They need somebody to, regroup everybody else because that's been lacking from when I watch this basketball team because they're doing a lot of the little things, the things that you want to see this team get better at wrong. And I don't care how much talent you have at the end of the day, what picks you're going to get. If you don't build the foundation properly from the beginning, this thing is not going to be a beautifully built castle by the end of it. So yeah, they suck right now. They're rebuilding, they're tanking, whatever you want to say, but they got to just get back to the basics. At least defend it somewhat well. Like, get a stop. Don't let the other team just go down at will and score in bunches, as was the case in this one. So it was very frustrating and disappointing because, again, this is a Raptors team that they have always been prideful in their defense. It's what's made this team great in previous seasons, why they had a decade of success. And yeah, like the offense, it's looked good in stretches. And this is a team that can put up a ton of points. I know you can say the Grizzlies didn't play defense either, but defensively is where it starts, especially when you're a young team. You gotta have effort on that end. It's like nobody wants to play defense. Everybody's just interested of getting down the floor and making an assist, making, a nice pass, getting an easy bucket, but nobody wants to pride themselves defensively. So I'm looking for somebody to rise to the occasion. I hope that Scotty, being that elite two-way player, really making his mark defensively, and that stems with everybody else. So yeah, this was bad to watch, and we'll see what the Raptors respond with on Sunday. We'll see if they're rejuvenated. We'll see if they come out with better defensive intensity. We'll see if Darko getting ejected the way that he did, sparks some life in this team. But right now, this is pretty bad. Like, giving up 155 in a game, that is historically bad defense right there, literally, from the Toronto Raptors. So let me know what you want to see from this team. How do you feel about them, giving up that many points? And yeah, what's just your general vibe with this team? Are you cutting them slack, or are you getting hard on them from what we've seen? Again, it's not like they went up against bad teams. You are going up against teams that are contenders, but I don't think you can use that as an excuse. Like, to put up that many points on this Raptors team, rebuild or not, like, that simply cannot happen. So we'll see if the Raptors can change the tune when it comes to their defense, because right now it has just been horrible TV to watch and just a horrible defensive product overall. So yeah, the Raptors keep losing, 9 losses in a row. They're positioning themselves well when it comes to that draft. But what are the Raptors going to do before the draft? And I'll probably do a separate stream, most likely tomorrow, getting into what I want to see at the deadline. We could do some Q&A as well. And I'm going to try to go live a lot more on this channel just to kind of keep it interactive. But we did get interesting news the other day. Shams, he did name drop the Raptors. So that caught some attention as Shams was talking about the Lakers situation. And Shams basically said, the Raptors are a team that the Lakers could monitor when looking at sellers around the NBA. And he said this, and I quote, "They're monitoring," talking about the Lakers, "the sellers around the NBA, Portland, Washington, Toronto, maybe Chicago. They're open to moving. They got 3 first-round picks they can trade. They're open to moving that in a potential trade, but they want a player or player that they feel can get into this iteration of this team, but can also play for 3, 4, 5 more years under JJ Redick as the coach." So that last part is interesting to me. It seems like whoever the Lakers are going to try to trade for, they're going to look for like a guy who's in his prime who can not only help this version of the team, but also be a piece for the future. So knowing that basically, in my opinion, puts it to 2 players who I think the Lakers would be targeting if they are monitoring what's going on with the Raptors around the deadline, because it does appear the Raptors are going to be a seller in some capacity. How aggressive of a seller, that remains to be seen. So because, again, the Lakers want somebody who can compete now and contribute to the future, I think that rules out Chris Boucher. Boucher, how old is he now? 31 years old. Doesn't really make sense long-term, I would say. So he's more of like a veteran player that would be a one and done type of scenario for whichever team trades for him. Chris Boucher is an unrestricted free agent at the end of the season. So I'm eliminating him from this equation. I don't think the Raptors are trading Kelly Olynyk, as I think I said that in a previous pod. And then the other 2 trade candidates, Jakob Poeltl, Bruce Brown. And I do think those are the 2 players the Lakers have their eyes on with the Raptors if they are indeed interested in some of the Raptors' veteran pieces. I think Jakob Poeltl could potentially be their most interested player because he makes a world of sense for them. You got to think the Lakers are going to be in the market for a big, a true center to line up beside Anthony Davis. Jakob Poeltl has been sturdy. He's been a stabilizer. He's suffering with a groin injury right now, but I think the Raptors are just playing it super, super safe, not rushing him back, because why would they? I think the Lakers have their eyes on Pirtle, and he would make so much sense. That basketball team is playing the best basketball of his career. He would be such a nice fit, but I don't see the Raptors trading Pirtle. Given what Grange said, given how valuable he is to this team, case in point, the last couple of losses. If the Raptors feel like they can turn this thing around next season and be a player in the East, you keep Pirtle. It's as simple as that. He makes this basketball team much, much better. I don't think the Raptors are going to end up trading Pirtle. And quite frankly, I started on team trade Pirtle. I think I'm off that, especially if the Raptors are not going to get a young big man back in a deal. And really, like, what are the Lakers going to give up in a deal for Pirtle? Like, who are they going to ship back to Loco with a bunch of other salary that makes the deal work? Like, I don't think there's a plausible exchange there, one that makes sense. So then for me, it comes down to Bruce Brown. Like that, given what has been said, the process of elimination that I just did, I think the Lakers could make an aggressive push for Brown. And really, it'll be interesting to see what happens with Brown, because what trade can materialize between the Raptors and Lakers when it comes to Bruce Brown. So I'm going to fire up the ESPN NBA trade machine here so you can all see. So let's get Brown here. So here's the tricky part about Bruce Brown. He's making $23 million, right? And under the new CBA, it's harder to move these larger contracts. Lakers got to figure out how they're going to match the salary, but then also how are they going to make it appealing enough for the Raptors to actually want to accept this trade? That's why Bobby Marks went on the Raptors show a couple weeks ago and said he thinks Chris Boucher has more value right now than Brown, because you look, Boucher is making $10.8 million. This is a lot easier to move than a larger number like this. And then going back to Pirtle too, another large contract, which, given with everything I just said, is another factor why I don't see the Raptors trading him. I think it's just simply too difficult. But let's just say, for the sake of it, okay, Brown's their guy. They want Bruce Brown. They feel like he could be a valuable rotation piece, which he can help LeBron, AD. How can the Lakers get to this salary to essentially, win the Raptors over in a trade? Well, there's two ways of doing it. Basically, they can stack up on smaller contracts to hit that amount. So I don't know, they could do something like Gabe Vincent, Vando, although it wouldn't be ideal because the Raptors, I don't think, would want to take on Vando's contract. And then like Cam Reddish, like something like this works. But again, why would the Raptors take up all these players? Like, what value is Gabe Vincent to this team? Nothing. You don't want to take on Vando's contract. He's on a 4-year deal. He's got a couple years remaining. And then Reddish, again, what value does he serve to this team? Nothing. So the only way something like this would compel the Raptors is if the Lakers attach a first-round pick. Like, they got to attach a first if they are going to come up with like one of these packages. And again, based on what Sham got 3 firsts that they will be looking to move. I don't think you're going to get 2 first-round picks, but you definitely got to attach a first-rounder if you are going to somehow make Masai Ujiri accept this. But this is a bad trade. Like, I'm just doing this for the sake of showing you what it would take salary-wise to get to Bruce Brown's salary. So yeah, a pick would definitely have to be included. The other way the Lakers can get there is if they attach a larger contract. So D'Lo, another player that wouldn't make any sense on the Raptors, and then a younger guy who the Lakers have seemingly given up on, Jalen Hood-Schifino. That works as well. But again, Raptors aren't making any deal with the Lakers unless they attach a first-round pick. That's basically what I'm trying to get at here. So unless the Lakers absolutely, go all in, they give the Raptors a first, maybe even a second in a deal like this, I could see the Raptors taking on salary that wouldn't make sense for them, but kind of, they just take it on because that's what it's going to take. You're going to need to take on salary to match Bruce Brown's, $23 million. So hopefully the Raptors in that case could get back draft capital, which would be beneficial in something like this. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens. If the Lakers are going to be calling the Raptors, I think it is going to be for Brown. I don't think the Raptors are trading Pirtle to the Lakers. As you can see, the Lakers, they don't even have much to work with to make a compelling offer for a guy like Yak. So yeah, it's Brown. And I think the other the Raptors are going to try to trade is Boucher. I think those are the two likeliest trade candidates before February 6th. And Boucher, You would think he is going to have interest from contending teams. Again, his contract is easily absorbable at 10.8. He can help a contending team's bench. He shoots it from three, guards the perimeter decently well. So, yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see what happens with the Raptors. But the Lakers, they are in all likely going to get aggressive. How aggressive with their first round picks remains to be seen. But yeah, basically, like, I'm only talking to the Lakers if they're willing to give up a first round pick. And again, would the Lakers even be willing to give up a first round pick for Brown, who hasn't even played this season? He has yet to make a season debut. We don't even know as Raptors fans how he's looking for this season, let alone fans of other teams and the Lakers themselves. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what ultimately happens, but we'll see. We'll see if the Lakers and Raptors got a deal with each other up their sleeve. I saw something proposed by Sports Illustrated, a Knicks Raptors trade for Jakob Poeltl. I didn't like it at all. I forgot what it was, but Mitchell Robinson was involved. So there's going to be a lot of mock trades. There's going to be a lot of trade chatter. We'll see what goes down when push comes to shove. But guys, let me know your thoughts. Do you want to see the Raptors get aggressive at the trade deadline? What deal do you think they're going to make if they do get aggressive? And just what's your overall vibe with this team? I put out a poll on this channel. Like, what's your vibe with the team's future? Are you pessimistic, optimistic, just doubtful? Let me know your thoughts down below. And once again, guys, thank you so much for watching. You can catch this pod every single week, either on Thursdays or Fridays, depending on when the Raptors play. And yeah, I'll be back, like I said, with a live, most likely tomorrow, just doing some Q&A, talking more about the trade deadline, as that's going to be a big talking point for this team. But yeah, that's going to conclude today's show, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Drop a like, subscribe before you get out of here. Follow me on X at Luca Rosano 3. That is it for me. It's Luke signing off. Thanks for watching. I will catch you all again in the next one.